Hello, I'm going to walk you through assembling the Thunder Road Nano Coaster from Coasterdynamix. So first we'll carefully take everything out of the package. We've got instruction sheets, the steel of the coaster itself, and a base plate. The base plate will have some paper backing on both sides. Remove that. Make sure when we punch the metal out, we start with the parts marked number 1, and you'll see that in the corner down here. Now you'll notice there is a slot on one side and not the other, and that is important when you start applying the metal for parts labeled number 1. You will see here in the picture that the slot is facing in the front as we put parts number 1 on this edge here. And now carefully, by bending back and forth, you can pop the little connector pieces. Now the ends right here have a couple of connector pieces, so be careful when you're bending those. Remember, be patient and do a lot of small bends. It will eventually pop. Again, with the slot facing you, we're going to start with the lift hill and we're going to place it on the inside track. And then we're going to carefully bend just a little bit. And now on the back side, we're going to take these tabs and we're going to bend them flat to 90 degrees. And now following around the engraved circle, just make the track follow that, being careful until you get these slots lined up. And again, bend the tabs flat to 90 degrees. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this down on the table to tighten up the tabs along the bottom. And now I see my curve is not very perfect, so I'm going to look at the engraving that's on the plastic base itself and get that until it lines up, and that looks fantastic now. You see you've got this long piece here, that's going to be your turnaround. So make sure when you line this up with the piece that comes off of the lift hill that these tabs will line up all the way through. If you have this reversed, the tabs will not fit. So if you find yourself in this situation, turn the piece around and they should slide right in. And again, as before, bend all the way to 90. Carefully follow the turn. And again, we're going to bend these tabs flat. I'm pushing in against the plastic as I'm bending the tab flat. And then I'm going to check my turnaround, and I'm happy with that. Now we've got one side of Thunder Road completed. Remember, be patient. Lots of small moves. You don't want to crease any of the pieces as you're working on this. And as a reminder, I'm now working on parts labeled number 2. And for this model, it's exactly the same procedure, just in mirror on this side. And one thing I want to note, you'll see a gap under the track if your tab is not fully inserted. So make sure you align your piece until the entire track is down against the plastic, and you won't see any gap. Now I'm using the back end of my pin, just the round part, to help round out my turnaround before the lift hill. And so now we move on to the second piece. And then bend again your tabs to 90, making sure there's no gaps along the bottom of the track. I'm going to check my curves on my turnaround. Actually, that one came out pretty nice. So now we've got the track laid out. I can almost feel the airtime now. So next we're going to work on the stations. You'll see there's a tab. This is the bottom of the station, and we've got the roof and the sides. I've bent the sides of the station up, or I should say inward. I've left the roof vertical. So place the station in one of the slots on either side of the lift hill. Bend its tab out vertical. And now we're going to bend its roof inward to the angle that we want. I'm not quite touching the lift hill, And again, the second station, we'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll see etching on one side of the piece, kind of the slat boards and the roof panels, but the other side of the piece is completely smooth. So keep that in mind. When you put the station on, you probably want the texture to be on the outside. So station in the slot, bend the piece out to 90 degrees underneath the tab that holds it. And then we're going to bend that roof inward. And there we go. One final piece left, and that will be the Thunder Road plaque. Since this piece is too small to bend up and down itself, I'm bending the metal on either side. And that'll go in the slot that's here in the front. Again, bend your tab flat. I'm going to angle this back just a bit. So here we have Thunder Road.